Alright, we're going to hop right into this. We're going to be doing this trunk gasket on this 1980 Camaro. I'm going to try to do this really fast. That way you don't have to sit through and listen to me yammer on. Basically, to undo this glued seam, which is all these from probably about 50s all the way up to the mid 80s, you're going to take a flathead screwdriver, stick it underneath there, and you're just going to kind of work it back and forth underneath the gasket and kind of twist it back and forth a little bit. And it'll start raising the gasket up out of there. And this is kind of a working process. You have to keep kind of going back and forth and coming out. And this is right at the beginning of a seam, so they've basically glued it in there really heavy. So it takes a little extra effort to get it out of there. Well, I've got it all the way around. Well, not all the way around, but pretty much all the way around the trunk so far. I've got it out of there. You're going to clean out the thing with probably a wire brush would be the easiest way. If you're protecting the paint job, just make sure you put 2 layers of masking tape on the protected side of the paint, so you don't mess up the paint job. Then take your wire brush, go all the way around down inside that lip there, get all that glue out of there, and then once you got all the glue out, rub it down with some sort of like either acetone or some alcohol to clean out any kind of dust particles. I recommend doing that a few times, and use a white rag so when you wipe it you can actually look at the rag and see how much dust you've got on the rag, and then once it stops pulling dust out, then you should be good. And then you're going to use this or something similar to this to glue it into place, some sort of weather stripping adhesive. You're going to put it, you're going to put a coat in the track all the way around, and then you're going to put a coat on the back side of the gasket all the way around, and you're going to let that dry without sticking them together. You're going to let that dry by themselves first, so it gets the surfaces ready to mate. Then you're going to come back once it's dry. You're going to put a thin coat on the back side of this seal, and then you're going to start from wherever place you want to. I recommend either starting, most of the time, starting right here by the latch mechanism. So you're basically going to just get center of the trunk, or you could do it a little bit offset, whichever way. This one you can tell is, this was basically the right at the end where they started it, and it's right off the side of the trunk. So you can basically start wherever you want. I don't recommend starting it up here, because if you do have a crack in the seam, if you don't get that seam glued perfectly together, it's going to be leaking down into the trunk area and dripping off. That's why they recommend doing it down here. So when the water gets to the back here, it's going to just run off the back side of this. It's not going to run up into the trunk most of the time. Alright, so yeah, that's how you're going to glue it in. Modern vehicles, if you're doing a modern one from probably about mid-90s up, it's going to be way simpler. It's going to have this type of seal on it. And basically, all it does is it's just got this little lip. Usually it just sticks straight up out of the trunk. And you're just going to sit it, push it down on there, and work yourself all the way around the trunk. Make sure it's pushed down on there really good. It should stay. And you can buy this stuff in feet, or you can get an actual, some places sell the actual circle for it. So you can get it either way. They have like little glue-in pieces that you shove in here, and then when you butt up another one, you shove it back in there. You can actually glue them together. It makes basically a round circle. You know, you don't have to buy it technically from a company made already. You can make it yourself, but it's a little bit easier, you know, if you already have it pre-made. You don't have to do any cutting or measuring or anything. Alright, well, I hope this helps somebody out. You know, just take care.